It's me, and welcome to episode 22 of The Weekly Whisper. I'm your host, Elian Habanero, and I'm here, as always, to talk everything 365 Pro Wrestling. And 365 has definitely done it. Well, you, the viewers, have done it. The month of May has just ended 2 days ago, and it is officially a record-setting month for the 365 on the YouTube channel. The most views ever, the highest revenue and or profit, the most subscribers, the most hours, times of watched, the most videos uploaded, everything you could possibly have a statistic for, the 365 has had records of it the month of May. So, man, what else can we do but say, let's keep the momentum going. Check out the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the videos on YouTube, tell your friends about it. They are putting roughly between 5 to 10 videos, sometimes more, a day, every day. It's usually a full show from the past vault, but just check it out. So much great stuff to see there. And the thing I've been talking about on the previous couple of weeks of the Weekly Whisper is they were trying to hit 2,000 subscribers, and guess what? Boom! 2,000 subscribers. Thank you for everybody for helping us get over that initial hurdle, and now we're on the path to 3,000, and it's already plenty more than 2,000. I think there's like 10 more than that already. So I thought I'd do a little thing here. We forget about sometimes the champions of 365. So here's my 365 champions check-in. The tag team of Haviko and Eddie Osborne, which I like to refer to as Havio. It's a clever little thing I came up with. You can trace it back to this show right here. I came up with Havio. I don't even know if they like it. They probably don't even like it, but it's too bad. It's Haviko and Eddie Osborne, E-O, Havio. It's awesome to me. They have now held the 365 Tag Team Championships, and by the way, they were the first champions ever in the history of 365. They've held it for a grand total of 144 days in a row, so congratulations to them. They're having a record-setting run, and we hope to see them defend those titles sooner rather than later. And the grand champion, the OGB, old greedy bastard, Jordy Taylor, he just celebrated 100 days as the 365 grand champion, the first singles champion in 365 history, but as of today it is now 102 days that Jordy Taylor has been the grand champion, and I love seeing all the photos with him and his championship belt, and congratulations to him, and I also would like to see him defended sooner rather than later. So congratulations to our champions, and just check in with them. I thought that would be something we should do. And I want to personally thank 365 Pro Wrestling for this platform. You know, I always wanted to do like a show where it was like a news show and a wrestling show and some kind of a YouTube show where I didn't really want to just talk. I did a show where I talked about myself and experience in wrestling, and I got that all out of me, and I wanted to move on to the next thing, and I didn't know what to do. So then I came up with, it'd be great if 365 had a weekly news show, and I was just gonna, or not even a show, I was just gonna type it up like a Weekly Whisper column. And then I thought, well, their YouTube channel is, at the time, it was currently having a lot of new content dropped on it. And I'm like, so I proposed the idea, I executed a plan, and I submitted my plan to the management and the ownership, and they said go for it. And I love how they have not asked me not to say anything, or they have not edited any of my videos or anything like that. This is the platform they've given me, and let me express my views and opinions about 365 and the roster and members of it. And you know, they don't tell me, oh, you got to put this guy on the top 5 list. I just send them the video and it's up, and I come up with this stuff myself. So don't think this is, I mean, the company is putting it out, but it's just my view, and I enjoy doing it, and I thank them for letting me do it. And I thought, like, hey, I should get a YouTube channel and do myself, which I do have a YouTube channel, but you need so many subscribers, and I thought if I did it, and I did do it in the past, I barely got any views, but with 365, they have such a huge amount of subscribers and such a great social media following. I'm like, why wouldn't I let them be my, I said this before, like my platform or my outlet, and if I have content, instead of starting something small for myself, they can make it reach bigger audiences, and I just thank them for that, and for always spreading the whisper. But this is the whole reason I'm saying this is I challenge you, if you're unable to wrestle and you have some kind of creative thing you want to go, maybe you want to do like a podcast or interview other wrestlers or do some kind of wrestling workouts where you film them or something that you've come up with yourself, I challenge you to why not submit something to 365, and then not only that, they can put it up and get more eyes on you and help grow your brand. Even though it's under the 365 banner, you're going to get more eyes on you, which just makes you more in demand and more, I guess, regular, or, you know, people have seen you, so you're out there more. I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but I think everybody gets the gist of what I'm going to say. So why don't somebody else do something like that? It'd be great to see. They do have some other segments, of course, the 365 podcast, the one with CC Moss, just dropped yesterday. It's a great little listen there. And they had the Referee's Corner, and then Commissioner Walls by the Fireplace, and of course this one, the Weekly Whisper. But they could always have room for some other stuff. But I'm sticking with the top 5 list. I've been enjoying doing this, so I'm gonna keep trying to come up with some other stuff. Someone said something about t-shirts, and I appreciated their comments, so I'm gonna do, I don't even know how to word this either, top 5 merchandise makers. I wasn't gonna say sellers or items, I would just, people who have over the years done great in the merchandising thing. So my top 5 merchandise makers that are people that have been a part of the 365 PWE roster throughout the years. So coming in at number 5, my man right here, Nolan James, who actually made this shirt himself, and I know he's made several other shirts and whatnot, and I just love the design, and he gave it to me when I interviewed him on one of my shows, and I just think he's got something there, and he's going to be pushing the merchandise hard. I know he's done so many more, but I don't know which ones and whatnot, but he's made the top 5 because not only is it creative that he comes up with the designs, but then he makes it himself. Gotta have your hats off to him. Coming in at number 4, we're going to have Jeff Black. Over the years, he's reinvented himself so many times and had so many different versions of Jeff Black, and then Pantalone, and then Chunky Fresh, and then Hardcore Hick, and then Roughhouse Jeff Black, and then the Temple Jeff Black. But he's had some really cool shirts throughout those years. I haven't been able to snag one. He was kind enough to autograph this Roughhouse Black picture for me. But man, he used to be so cool. I mean, I guess he's still cool, but like he always was, he always knew what to do at the times, and he always had some great merchandise out there. And so he comes in at number 4. For my number 3 one, a man whose shirt is not featured on this wall, I begged him during his retirement match and the last PWA match if he could give me a shirt, and that is, in number 3 spot, Reggie Marley. And the reason why he couldn't give me a shirt is because this man was not about making a huge profit. He made so many classic shirts over the days. He had the S.T. Jones one, he had the one with Jeff Black's butt, he had, oh man, the Greaves from Jamaica ones, so many cool ones, but he gave them all away. A lot of them, most of them, for free. And just, what a great guy. He would show support. It was always mostly to kids and families and people that he appreciated coming out to the show, and maybe they couldn't afford a shirt. But he had some really cool shirts over the years. Man, there's so many. And so he gets the 3rd place. And I'm not sure, but I think he designed a lot of them himself as well. But I'm not sure of that. I never actually asked him about that. So coming in at number 2, we got Warhead, who designed a bunch of shirts throughout the years. He designed this shirt for me. This one here. This one here, I believe. He's always been such a smart merchandise, especially for his own promotions and his own brand. He's always been ahead of the game. He designs them all. He's just, this one was back in like 2007, so he's definitely been ahead of the game on that stuff, where it's just mostly been in the last 5 years where a lot of people were really, really heavy into merchandise. So that leaves us with the number 1 spot. And I gotta give it to Lenny Lilac. Lenny Lilac has had so many classic shirts over the years, and he's helped a lot of people get classic shirts. I think he has 3 shirts just on my wall. This one, Never Shut Up, the Hot Mess Express, and the Lilac Family. But he's had so many more. And so he gets a top spot for top 5 merchandise makers. Of course, 365 PWA has had some great ones over the years as well. And I really want to get one of those blue logo ones from the Pro Wrestling Tees store. I got the 365 Pro Wrestling one with the white, not from the store. I was actually given it to me by Eddie Osborne the last time he was out this way, so I appreciate that. But there's been some really cool ones over the years, and shout out Nick H, who also created a lot of the designs. I know he did this one for me. He created this one for me. And shout out to Trace's Screen Printing, one of the longtime sponsors of the 365, who gives great deals on shirts. So if you ever did want to have shirts made up, you can go to them. They are based, I believe, in Waterloo, Ontario. So that's it. My top 5 merchandise makers. Number 5, Nolan James. Number 4, Jeff Black. Number 3, Reggie Marley. Number 2, Warhead. And number 1, Lenny. And as always, if you disagree, or if there's a shirt that you, or not even shirt, merchandise. I'm talking merchandise, but I mean the majority are shirts. A lot of people have 8x10s, photos and whatnot. There's a couple other things that people have had, but put in the comments. Who do you think has had the best merchandise that's a part of the 365 PWA roster over the years? And I got one more. Let's do another one. Why not? Do another top 5. This one is in the history of PWA 365. And remember, these are my lists, but I do want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what your lists are. The top 5 factions, stables, or groups. Basically anyone more than 2 people. Like, it had to have 3 or 4 or more. So top 5 factions, stables, and groups in the history of the PWA 365. So let's start with the number 5 spot. The guy that gave me a hard time last week, Too Magnificent Nicky Martin, was the head of the United Front, featuring Clay Wilson, Brandon Jacobs, and Lance Malibu. They had some success. They won the Tag Team Championships on a few occasions, and they had some great matches. And they get the number 5 spot, so I don't want an angry video next week from Too Magnificent Nicky Martin. But I didn't do that despite him. They deserve their place there in the top 5. And so number 4, the shirt I pointed at already once, the Lilac Family. The thing that started it all, really, back in the Alpine Club, that got those years really going between the Lilac Family and Hardcore Hick and Mike Hart and Joey Allen and Eazy-E and all those guys. Of course, Eddie Osborne. The Lilac Family always was successful, and they definitely deserve. It was hard to put them at number 4, but just there's only so much room. So the Lilac Family gets the number 4 spot. So that means coming in at the number 3 spot. If you're out here in Ontario, you may not be that familiar with the number 3, the Von Slashers from the British Columbia chapter of 365. But go on to YouTube, because a lot of their group matches are on there. The group consisted of Cremator Von Slasher, Rhea Von Slasher, Lax Siddhartha, and Rigor. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I know a lot of their matches are on YouTube. And what a perfect group. Lack I've always had respect for, and I've always feared. And then the Cremator, who's scary, and then of course the crazy girl of the group who could go with any of the boys and stand toe-to-toe with them, and then Regar, the manager. They deserve the 3rd spot, and they're getting it. Number 3, the Von Slasher Family. So that brings us to number 2. The Sports Generation, the King of Canada, the Jesse Jones, the leader of the Sports Generation. I was in the Sports Generation at one point. There was many different versions of the Sports Generation, but they pretty much all had successful runs, and they always seemed to have a champion or 2 in the group, no matter what members the group consisted of. So they get the number 2 spot, and that would leave us with the number 1 spot. You know, the Temple. People hated them, but they got the craziest reaction. And now, a lot of people love them, and their reaction is crazy, but the Temple has just always been money. Tex Lexus, Lenny Lilac, Jeff Black, CC Moss. Check out the song I wrote for them on YouTube, the Temple Tribute. But they get the number 1 spot. Who is your top 5 factions, groups, stables, whatever you want to call it? Who is your top 5? Put it in the comments. Let's hear it. And so what else do we got? We got make sure you like or you get a leg drop. Comment or you get a clothesline. Subscribe or you get a suplex. And share or you get a super. I'm your host, Elian Habanero. I love wrestling. Cuba.